So what you're looking at is a stress test for the Champion Challenge ability of the Crown Sorcadin. The Crown Sorcadin has an AC of 36. Lae'zel has an AC of 19. What I wanted to see was, when affected by Champion Challenge, will the Steel Watch move away from our pretty much unhittable tank into our back line given the opportunity? As you can see, it doesn't. Welcome to the Crown Sorcadin Retaliation 2.0, where math beats the meta every single time. Let's go! If you want to stick around to figure out how the hell this thing works and for the math, I welcome you. If you just want to see the build and replicate it yourself, jump to this timestamp right here, and I'll catch up with you soon. So, to understand how this build works, we have to look at the automated weapon system running under the hood. This is our self-perpetuating reverberation engine. So, the moment an enemy misses our Crown Sorcadin, the adamantine shield inflicts reeling. Because reeling is a condition, the boots of Stormy Clamor immediately slaps on 2 stacks of reverberation. Simultaneously, that initial miss triggers the Holy Lancehelm, forcing a Dexterity 14 saving throw, or the enemy has taken 1d4 radiant damage. Not a lot, I know, but it does add up. If they fail the saving throw and take the radiant damage, the Gloves of Belligerent Skies detonate for another 2 stacks of reverberation. Before the enemy can even attempt a second swing, their stats are already crippled. Their dex saves are ruined with -4, and their to hit chance is also reduced by -5. So at that point in time, their second swing, they're most likely to miss. And then they're most likely to have radiant damage applied to them from Holy Lancehelm, which then applies more reverberation, which then applies again more debuffs to their dexterity saving throws. This is why this is a self-perpetuating cycle. Now, this concept is not new. The reverberation engine has been discussed previously by many creators out there in just how powerful it is. But what I've done though is pair it with a high AC and critical hit immunity. Pairing these two things together is the other mechanic that I want to discuss. If you build a traditional tank with massive AC, a fighter for example, but without critical hit immunity, you are not safe. The moment an enemy rolls a nat 20 against you, the game's engine completely bypasses your AC. It's an automatic hit, you take massive damage and your concentration shatters, your entire defensive loop breaks. Conversely, if you slap on critical hit immunity but run a standard low AC build, for example as a barbarian, basically you're getting hit more often but the damage you're taking is reduced because the double damage applicable on a critical hit doesn't apply to you. Now the secret, the missing key that unlocks true unyielding invincibility and keeps our character up and running throughout the entirety of the game only happens when you fuse the two together, 37 AC and critical hit immunity. When you combine these two things together, you create an unbreakable mathematical checkpoint. Now, when an enemy rolls a nat 20, the critical immunity slams that door shut. The game engine is forced to treat the critical hit nat 20 as a normal number. It strips away all the things that make a nat 20 critical. This includes the double damage component as well as the automatic hit component. Therefore, it then uses that number, adds the bonuses that are applicable, compares the resulting number to your AC. If your AC is higher than that number, the nat 20 misses. Now, why the number 37 is important. The enemy with the highest base attack bonus is the red dragon that you meet right at the very end of Act 3, the endgame boss. It has a strength modifier of +8, a proficiency modifier of +6, and an extra +2 modifier for fuck you, you picked honor mode. That results in a +16. If it rolls a nat 20 and you have an AC of 37 and critical hit immunity, the resulting attack roll is a 36. Since 36 can never meet or exceed 37, the nat 20 misses you. No cheese, no tricks, just math. And because the game's code is now mathematically forced to register that absolute best case enemy effort as a failure, it acts as a flawless permanent on switch for our reverb engine that we first initially talked about. Every attack is going to miss you. Every attack is going to apply reverb. Every attack is going to cause dexterity saving throw failures. Every attack is just going to keep sucking in every enemy that tries to hit you. And because, as we saw in the initial clip, Champion's Challenge is so powerful that it forces enemy to completely ignore everyone else but you. You are the ultimate tank. You are the god of this game now. So how do you go about making this build? It is quite simple, really. It is a Sorcadin build, so the level split is 8 levels into Paladin, Oath of the Crown, and 4 levels into Sorcerer. Doesn't matter which subclass for Sorcerer, I've tested them all. The bonuses you get from each subclass is negligible. You want your initial stat spread to look something like this. You want a strength of 8. Your dexterity should be at 14. Your constitution should be at 14 as well. Intelligence will be at a 10, wisdom at a 12, and charisma at a 17. Once you get all of the bonuses onto your character. So all of the bonuses, including Auntie Ethel's boon and all of the bonuses from Act 3, you should be expecting to do a respec. And yes, the 8-4 multi-class split is deliberate. It gives you the maximum amount of ability score increases, 3, to apply to your character. Those ability score increases, along with drinking elixirs of giant strength, the amulet of greater health, the bonuses that you can gain from the mirror of loss, and the bonuses that you can gain from Auntie Ethel's boon, gives you a very robust stat spread that buffs up your saving throws on top of the buff that is already applied through the aura of protection. Race and background doesn't matter for this build, so pick whichever one you want. You want to start off as Paladin for your first level, which gives you Wisdom Save Proficiency and Heavy Armor. You're mostly going to be using Medium Armor, but Heavy Armor is nice for those first few levels, levels 1 to 3, where you won't have access to the Luminous Armor set as of yet, and Heavy Armor is your best friend just to keep you alive. For your first level up straight out of the Nautiloid, I would recommend picking up Sorcerer as your first level up. Uh, for cantrips, I would recommend Booming Blade for the ability to hit with thunder damage just in case you do a weapon swap accidentally and don't have a weapon that can do lightning, thunder, or radiant damage inherently. Booming Blade will give you that ability to do thunder damage without fail. I would also recommend the Light cantrip. We are linking this cantrip to the Callous Glow Ring that we will be picking up in Act 2. For your level spells, there's one spell that you need, everything else is for flavor, whichever way you want to play. That is the shield spell. You pick this up no matter what, and basically that is what you're going to be using for the rest of the game. After that, you want to beeline straight to Paladin 3. This will give you access to Champion Challenge. This is the taunt mechanic showcased very early in this video, and it is one of the best taunt mechanics I have seen in the game. Actually, the only taunt mechanic I've seen in the game, and it is very, very powerful. And then after that, you beeline to Paladin 6. This gives you Aura of Protection. This is the other thing that shores up the weakness of most of the other tanks out there. The ability to succeed saving throws by virtue of having our charisma modifier be added to all of our saving throws across the board. Once you hit Paladin 6, that's pretty much near the end of Act 1. You may have another level coming up, depending on what other things that you've done in Act 1. On top of that, Paladin 6, you have pretty much all of the abilities that you need to play this character exactly how I've been showing you up on the screen. Alright, let's talk about gear. This is a very gear dependent build, and 6 out of the 11 items that you're going to be utilizing throughout the rest of your run actually comes from Act 1, which is why by the time Act 2 rolls around, you can actually play this build as I'm showing you. So, they are the Defender Flail, the Boots of Stormy Clamor, the Gloves of Belligerent Skies, and the Holy Lance Helm. All those 4 items can be found in the Githyanki Creche area. Now, the other items are the Ring of Protection. You can get this from Maul after you complete the Kaga questline and then steal the idol for her. And the Adamantine Shield, which you can forge once you defeat Grim. Special mention goes to the Luminous Armor set, the Bow of Awareness, and the Shining Staver of Skulls. Now, you are going to most likely upgrade from these items at some point during your run through. Actually, you will, because I'm going to tell you where you can get the upgrades for them. But when you get them at the point in the game when you have access to these, those items are the best to be slotted for those particular equipment slots until you get the upgrade. So, Act 2. Essentially, you're going to level up twice here. You're going to go from level 8 through to level 10. Again, put the levels in whichever way you want, as long as you maintain that Paladin 8, Sorcerer 4 split. In regards to gear, there are 3 items which you want. 2 of them are pretty much necessary for your build. The other one is an optional item that you can utilize later on to gain arcane acuity. These are the Hat of Storm Scion's Power. That's the optional item. The 2 other items are the Cloak of Protection. This is a must-have, and the Callous Glow Ring. This helps in regards to applying the Glove of Belligerent Skies reverb ability a little bit more by applying radiant damage to your weapon attacks. And finally, we hit Act 3. In Act 3, you will get your final 2 levels. Again, doesn't matter which one you pick first and which one you advance, as long as you maintain the Paladin Oath of the Crown level 8 and Sorcerer, whatever subclass you picked, level 4, you are fine. In Act 3, you are going to pick up 3 items. The amulet, which has been pretty much empty, you're just putting in whatever fits at that point. An upgrade to your armor, and an upgrade to your bow, and also an optional weapon. These are the Amulet of Greater Health that you can steal from the House of Hope, the Armor of Agility, which you can purchase from the Armor Merchant right opposite Sorcerer Sundries, the Hellrider Longbow, which is an upgrade to the Bow of Awareness, and you can purchase this from the Char Merchant in Rivington, and the weapon option that you kind of want to get is Nyrul now, which you can not purchase, you can gain from the genie in the carnival. Now you will also want to complete Shadowheart's questline to gain access to the Mirror of Loss. The Mirror of Loss is able to provide two bonuses, a +1 to Charisma and a +2 to any ability score that you wish. You are want to pick Dexterity. There are guides out there to tell you how to do this, so look them up and then get those bonuses. Once you get all of the gear that I mentioned before and all of the bonuses from the Mirror of Loss, you want to do your final respec for your final form. These are the numbers that you need to change. You want your strength to still be 8, your dexterity is at 16, your constitution is at an 8, intelligence will be a 12, wisdom will be a 14, and charisma will be at 16. Your strength gets fixed by drinking elixirs of Cloud Giant Strength. Your dexterity, you're going to apply 2 ASIs onto that, plus the +2 that you get from the Mirror of Loss. This will give you a dexterity of 22. Con will be fixed by equipping the Amulet of Greater Health. Intelligence will remain steady at 12. Wisdom will remain steady at 14. Charisma at 16 with Auntie Ethel's boon plus the +1 bonus that you can gain from the Mirror of Loss, plus your third ASI of +2 brings charisma up to 20. With those stats, plus the +5 bonus that you get from Aura of Protection, your saving throws are going to be godlike. This is what they look like. And that's the build, guys. Feel free to go and play it. The rest of the 5 minutes I think left in this video is just me um, talking about stuff that are so edge cases or so minutely detailed that you don't really need to know about it. Um, but I have the need to tell you about it because, yeah, brain stuff. Otherwise, go have fun, as Mol says.
Thanks. See you in Baldur's Gate, I hope. Now scram, before I get emotional.
Just to be clear, this is not a no damage build, and it shouldn't be used for no damage runs. For the simple fact that because you are right in front of every single enemy that you face, you are going to get damage in one way, shape, or another. For example, the Mercolite Scourge will damage even on a miss. Spells like Fireball, Lightning Bolt, Blight, all of these things do half damage even on a successful save. And since you're going to be targeted by everyone, yeah, you are going to get damaged. And the other thing I want to talk about are variances. So, this build was essentially made to tank. So, I'm assuming there's a backline, and this build is meant to draw aggro from that backline. If you want to use this build as a solo build, I wouldn't go Crown. The only reason we went Crown is for Champion Challenge, and if you're going solo, there's no need for that. I would recommend Vengeance instead, and then that will be suitable for a solo run. The other thing I want to talk about are edge cases. So, I've found 2 edge cases that basically are able to punch through all of the defenses that we've just been talking about. 1. Reactions. If you are hit via a reaction, so opportunity attack and something similar along those lines, you don't get triggered to be asked for your shield reaction. So you can't seem to react to use a reaction to guard against a reaction. That's one. The other is in Moonrise Tower's fight. In that fight, there are two war priests. Now, war priests have this ability called War God's Blessing. It adds plus 10 to any attack roll. This edge case, both of the warrior priests added their War God's Blessing on a single attack roll, pushing that up to a plus 20, which of course broke through my defenses. And that is the very first time I've seen the AI do that. Stack all of those bonuses on a single attack to make sure that it hits me. And yeah, uh, I was actually proud. Um, but yeah, I've never been able to replicate it. And it's, again, these things happen so rarely that I can still, even in my autistic mindset of having to tell the truth, that yeah, this build has a 0% chance of being hit under normal circumstances.